Financially raw, real, authentic wisdom with Lawrence Oberholzer from Retire Rich and Happy.
So let's talk a little bit about the Financial Freedom Forum. So firstly, what is it? The Financial Freedom Forum is an idea I had, I can't even remember, about 4 years ago, about we need to have a place where we can educate people, get a bunch of people together, and instead of trying to spend an hour with each individual separately, rather spend a few hours with 100 or 200 people and educate them all at the same time, because that leverage is so valuable. So we had this idea. We said we're going to start doing a forum. At that point, it was I can't even remember what we called it, but it wasn't called the Financial Freedom Forum. But any case, so we decided we're going to do that. I went on Mix FM, we started marketing it, and there's a whole story around our first forum we held, which was quite interesting. But it's all about educating people, having a place where people can come for a day and get basic practical information that they can go and implement immediately. That's always been my goal with this, is to not give bullshit baffles brains nonsense, to really stand there and give people practical knowledge, practical things that they can go walk out, implement, and see an improvement in their lives. I mean, it's always been the way I looked at things, and that's why we call the show Financially Raw, which is real, authentic wisdom. No pie in the sky, no nonsense, no complicated things where people have no idea what the hell we're talking about. It's putting things in such a way that anybody can understand it and anybody can walk out. Another thing that is important about the forum, I've attended quite a lot of these free seminars and even paid seminars, and you get there and the speaker, he actually gives you a lot of information, but it doesn't mean anything, because he actually wants to keep back all the information that he knows, because he wants you to buy his course, attend his seminar, or whatever the case may be. So it's always, well, we'll give you a little bit, but if you really want to know the secrets, you have to go to this course, or you have to buy this course, or go to this seminar and pay 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 Rand. So the whole system is there to just basically get you to buy up a bigger course. And that's from the beginning been something I wanted to shy away from. So when we get there, you're going to be shown all the information. You're going to be shown the structures, how it works exactly. We're not going to hide anything away. We're not going to say, well, we're going to give you a little bit of information that doesn't actually mean anything. But if you really want the information, we're going to only give it to you once you pay for this course or that course. That's not how we do it. We really give practical information, and you can go and do it on your own. What we are going to promote to you or show you is our coaching model, and how the coaching model helps people overcome the knowing doing gap. So you will have all the information when you leave. But what we've seen out of experience is that people really battle with a knowing doing gap. It's one thing to know this information, it's a completely different thing to actually implement it. And that's why I created a coaching system whereby we take people by the hand and help them to implement the 5-step process. And that we will show you. But again, it is something that if you want to do it on your own, you are welcome to take the information, go implement it, and do it for yourself. I met a client last night or yesterday afternoon. He was at the forum in about 2 years, just before the lockdown. I think it was November 2019. He attended the forum, and still he said, well, still today he's implementing some of the things, but he got stuck after step 2 or step 3, where he doesn't know how to take the next step, or he battles to take the next step. So 2 years later, he was still doing the things that we taught him at that forum. Now, there's not a lot of seminars, I can promise you, I've been to hundreds of them, where you walk in and you get information that 2 years later you are still practically implementing, and it's still benefiting you. So if you really want to get some practical knowledge and tips tips and tricks and tools, come to the forum and come there for a day and come and really change your financial future. Guys, here's the reality of the situation. I know how to get you to retire in 10 years. You just have to follow the recipe. The recipe is already done. It's been tried. It's been tested. It's like you want to bake a chocolate cake. I always tell people, you know what, I can bake very well. Usually when we have a birthday party or we have an event, I have to bake the cake. And I always tell people, you know what, I can bake very well. And the reason I can bake well is because I can read. So if the recipe says do this and then that and then that, I do it exactly like the recipe states. If it says 200 grams of flour, I put in 200 grams of flour, not 210 grams, not 180 grams, because the recipe said 200 grams of flour. So I follow that recipe, and lo and behold, surprise, surprise, the cake actually comes out a success. But what do a lot of people do? They look at the recipe and then they just change it for the sake of being lazy, or just change for the sake of change. Nah, this looks like it's about enough. And then the cake flops, and then what do? They blame the recipe. No, that's not a good recipe. My cake flopped. Well, it flopped because you didn't follow the recipe. So if we go and you really serious about taking control of your financial situation, financially retiring in 10 years, comfortable, never having to worry about money again for the rest of your life. And we give you the recipe, word for word, step by step. Are you going to follow the recipe, or are you going to change the recipe just because for the fact of wanting to change something? So we know how to get you there. You must just follow the recipe and be committed to that recipe. People overestimate what they can do in a year, and they completely underestimate what they can do in a decade. We look at this year, we're already in April, middle of April we are already. So people start the year, they want to change the world in 1 year, and before they know it, it's already April. But people forget how much you can do in a decade. Most billionaires are created over a decade. You can go and look at these guys, the Elon Musks, Bill Gates, all of these guys, Steve Bezos, or Jeff Bezos, all of these guys took them about 10 years to go and and become a billionaire. Now, if that person can become a billionaire, just think about it, $1 billion. If they can build that over 10 years, I promise you, if you follow the recipe, you can create a financial retirement for yourself in 10 years. It is not rocket science, guys. It's just a question of people want to do different things instead of just following the recipe that is there. And we will share that recipe with you on the Financial Freedom Forum. So when is it? It is the 7th of May, 2022. It's a Saturday. It is literally, I think, 3 weeks from now, we are having the forum, and where it's going to be held at the Roodepoort Civic Theatre in Roodepoort on the 7th of May. So we have booked the Civic Theatre. It is a massive theatre, and it is going to be an event of note, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what you can expect when you get there. So the first thing is we will have an expo at the forum as well, where we will have a visual representation of the 5 steps. So for those of you who don't know the 5 steps by now, the 5 steps are the foundation building blocks of our whole business. Everything we do is built around the 5 steps to retire rich and happy. So here are the 5 steps. Step number 1, invest in yourself, which is all about financial education, theoretical and practical education. Secondly, minimize your risk. Make sure that doesn't matter what happens, because we live in a world where there's a lot of uncertainties. Let's make sure that if anything happens, your life or your dependents' lives can continue in the same manner that they were used to. Thirdly, you've got become an entrepreneur. So you want to start creating what we call MSI, multiple sources of income. but you need to have your systems in place to make sure that your income, that extra income that you're generating, is actually working for you instead of you just keep working for money. And then step number 4 is invest in income generating assets. Take the profit from your business ventures, invest that into income generating assets. What's an income generating asset? It's an asset that generates an income as a result of the asset, not what you do in the asset. And then number 5 is pay it forward. Pay it forward is all about making a difference in somebody else's life. Do something to uplift someone else, because that is what we believe where true happiness lies. If you want to be really content, if you want to be really happy, go do something to help somebody else. Whether it's from an education perspective, whether it's from an upliftment perspective, do something to help somebody else improve their lives, because that is where true happiness lies. So those are the 5 steps. So what will happen is, or what's going to happen when you get to the venue, you will have the expo, and as you walk in on the aisle to get to the venue, you will move through all the 5 steps. You will first get to the invest in yourself section of the expo. There we will have a stand that sells books, educational books, especially focused on the books that have changed my life. I've read hundreds of self-help, educational, motivational business books over my lifetime. And what I've done is I've created sort of a collection of the ones that have made a real impact in my life, molding me into the person I am today. And those books will be there, and you can go and order any of those books for yourself and see how it can change your life. I am a very ardent believer in reading. Even in today's day and age, there's nothing that beats reading a book that can change your life, change the way you think. Because the more you read, the more it becomes you. That message, the information becomes you. When you read it, just watching a video for me doesn't have the exact same impact as actually reading a book. Also, we will have our coaches there. So at one of the stands, we will have all our coaches, and those coaches will be there for you to talk to, find out how the coaching can help you, and just see how they work with students. So if you want to know how the coaches work, you're welcome to go and talk to them. Next, you will go into the minimize your risk section of the expo. There we are going to have our risk specialists, and they will be there to chat with you, answer any questions you might have regarding your risk cover. We will have our risk specialist from RRH, and we will also have our short-term insurance specialists from RRH Risk Management that work specifically with people's short-term insurance. That is the car insurance, household goods, the building insurance, as well as commercial insurance. We will also have some of our insurance partners here. For example, Liberty Life, Capital Legacy will be there. IFA Net, which is the Hollard, we will have some of those people there as well that will have a presence, and if you have any questions, you are welcome to go ask them about that. Then you go through to the Become an Entrepreneur section of the expo. In the Become an Entrepreneur section, we will have a stall talking about how you can become a coach yourself, become a financial coach or a wealth strategist, and how can you help other people with their finances. If you are really a teacher by heart and somebody that wants to make an impact in somebody else's life, basically pay it forward. You can become a coach through iRetire and also help other people. So you can talk to some of the people that are there about how you can become a wealth strategist. Also, we will have a few people there that will talk about other business opportunities that might be available to you to start earning an extra income. So if you want to know a little bit more about, you want to earn a little bit extra money on the side, there will be people to talk to. They can explain how it works, and you can then see if it's something that fits in and that resonate with what you want to do. From there, you will move through the invest in income generating assets. And in that section, we will have some of the partners we build with to build income generating assets. One of the big partners is SAPIN, the South African Property Investors Network, and they will be there discussing how property investment can be used as income generating assets. And then last but not least, by any means, you will go into the pay it forward section. And that is just before you go into the hall. You will go through the pay it forward section. And the pay it forward section is where we get involved in community outreach and charity. So we will have 2 charities there. The one being Just in Time, which is a charity that looks after abandoned babies. And they do a fantastic work, and we've been involved with that charity for a few years. And also we will have Castaways there as well, which is a charity that looks after abandoned animals, specifically dogs and cats. And they will have a few puppies there and dogs to play with as well. So you can sit and play with the dogs if you want to as well. You will be able to donate to those charities if it is something that you want to do. And you can get involved in any way that you feel you can make a difference to these charities. The owners of the charities will be there. You can chat to them, see what they need, and do your bit to pay it forward. So that is the expo part. And as we take breaks during the day, you are welcome to go walk in through the expo, chat to the people at their stalls, and get an idea of how the 5 steps actually work. Then we will also have some guest speakers on the day. So let's talk a little bit about the initial morning speakers at the forum and what you are going to learn. Now, there's a couple of speakers that we're still waiting for the exact topics, but I'm going to share with you the ones that we already know exactly what they're going to talk about. So one of our first speakers will be Sarah Rousseau from Cypress Group. They are accountants, an accounting and tax consultancy. They are brilliant at what they do. What I enjoy about Saraki and her team is they think like business people first. And I tend to enjoy working with people that think like business people and entrepreneurs first, and accountants and lawyers and things second. So Saraki and her team, they really are good at thinking about things from an entrepreneurial perspective. And they are going to talk about the importance of tax administration for business and individuals. So they're going to talk about how important it is for you as an employed individual even to really look and manage your taxes. A mistake that I see a lot of people make, especially people that are employed getting a basic salary, they sort of just not assume but accept the fact about the amount of money they pay for tax. They only focus on the money that comes into their account. They're like, they complain about it. Well, most of my money goes to tax every month, but they're not doing anything to improve that situation. And there are ways for you to legally minimize your tax burden. So find out how to do that and manage your taxes in such a way that you pay the least amount possible, legally, of course. So Saraki is going to come and talk about how important that is, and then in the break you are welcome to go to their stall and you can go and talk to them about how they can help you guys as well. Then we will have Rupert Fourie from Capital Legacy, and he's going to talk about why every person, every adult needs to have a will. So he's going to talk about the importance of a will, the small things you need to look at, and why even if you think that you have no assets or you have no dependents, you don't need a will, why it is still important for you to have a proper will. It's probably one of the most important documents or agreements you will ever sign in your life. So it is important to have that ready, and he will have a few tips to make sure that your will is valid and properly drawn up. We will then have Kayleen Smallberger, and she's going to come and talk about a new company that's launching in South Africa called Synzino, and it's a global mega trend, and how that company is helping people with their health and not just physically, mentally, help people to live their best lives. After that, we will have Arno Janse van Vieren from Stratlaw. Now, Stratlaw is our legal partners that we work with. And again, it's one of those people that I always say to people, they are business people first and lawyers second. Like I said earlier, I enjoy working with people like that. People that think like an entrepreneur first and then like an attorney second. Most attorneys you work with think like attorneys first and an entrepreneur second. And it's very difficult to really work with those attorneys because they don't understand how an entrepreneur thinks. And what I enjoy about Arno and his team is they think like entrepreneurs first. And they're going to come and talk about, or Arno is going to talk about your personal investment structure, how you structure your personal investments to have the best possible tax structure and safety and security from creditors, so that if something goes wrong, all your investments, all your assets don't get lost. So he'll share those tips and secrets with you so that you know as you move through and you become more and more financially secure, build more and more assets, you do it correctly from the beginning. We will then have Steph Buetta from Brain Gain. Now, Brain Gain is a company that helps you develop your functions, your brain functions, practice your cognitive functioning, etc. And they're going to come and talk about how to get the best out of your most valuable tool. So if you look at that, your brain is the most valuable tool you ever own because everything happens from your brain. So if you have to keep your brain sharp, you have to keep your tool sharp, you have to feed your tool, you have to make sure that that tool is in optimal condition. And that is what Brain Gain does. It helps you to make sure your brain is in optimal condition. We will then have Warren Turner from I Loan to You, and he's going to come and show and talk about how we help people through tough times and how you can get involved and help people through tough times. And then we'll have SAPN, the South African Property Investment Network, and they are going to come and talk about why real estate is still the best income generating asset. So they're going to give you tips, tricks, tools, on how you can become a real estate investor and build passive income through that. The mistake I always say to people, there is the right way to invest in property or real estate, and then there's the way that most people invest in real estate. So what they're going to do is they're going to do the right way. The way most people invest in real estate is they find a property, they go, they take a bond, buy the property, then hope they get a good tenant in, put a tenant in the property costs them 2,000 Rand more than what they're actually earning from the property, and they convince themselves that it's a good investment because in 3 years or 5 years or 7 years, the property will start giving them a positive cash flow. That is not the way to invest in a property. So Andrew and the team will come and explain exactly the tips that you need to know to become a good real estate investor. Okay, so those are the guest speakers that will be there. From there, I will come on, and then it is my time with you guys to run through some of the practical tips and knowledge that I have built up over the last 23 years in the financial services industry. So here's some of the topics. Now, guys, there's going to be a lot more. I'm really going to share so much with you and practical stuff that you can go and implement immediately. One of the things I'm going to talk about is that we need to redefine retirement. So I'm going to talk about redefining retirement, moving away from the traditional way of thinking about retirement to the new way. And the moment we do that, your whole mindset around retirement is going to change. You're going to have a completely different goal when you start looking and planning your retirement. And that if you follow that path, if you start redefining retirement and aiming for the right way to retire, you're going to be able to retire younger, you're going to be able to retire more comfortably, you're going to be more financially secure, and you're going to have more happiness and a life of joy when you retire comfortably. So we're going to redefine what retirement means. We're going to change your mindset so that you can start thinking differently about retirement. I'm also going to talk about why savings alone is not the answer. So there's 3 assets that you need to invest in to really build a proper retirement plan. But the assets builds on top of each other. So it's one thing to invest in these 3 assets. It's a different thing to actually build it in the right sequence. So I'm going to teach you exactly how to build these assets and how the one asset feeds the next asset. And savings alone is not the answer. I'm going to teach you the rule of 300, and that is a rule that's going to show you how much capital you would need to generate a specific amount of income. And I'm going to teach you the rule of tens, which will show you how much you would actually need in the future to have the same buying power as today, so that you can go and calculate how much income or how much capital you would need by the time you retire. I'm going to show you a way how you can save up to 10, or not up to, at least 10% on your monthly expenses. So just have a look at your budget. Think about how tight your budget is at the moment and assume you can cut 10% of that. How much is that extra cash flow going to mean to you on a monthly basis? How quickly will that extra saving move you in the direction you want to achieve? I see so many ads on TV, specifically around short-term insurance. There's the one company with the purple, and they have this ad that says, I saved 300 Rand a month on my short-term insurance. That is 3,600 Rand per year. It's changed my life. And the guy is so happy about his 300 Rand a month saving. And I just think about it and say, really? Does that really make such a big difference? I can almost guarantee that everybody that saved that 300 Rand on the insurance, within a month or two, they didn't even know that that money was saved, because they have no system to really make that saving work for them. Now imagine you can cut 10% of your expenses. Just put that in perspective. If you have a budget of 30,000 Rand per month, that means you will have an extra 3,000 Rand a month available to build towards your financial future. Wouldn't that be worth it to take the effort to be able to cut your expenses by at least 10% or more than 10%? Also going to show you how to pay off all your unsecured debt within 24 months. So some people will do it in 3 months, some people will do it in 12 months, but we will get you there within 24 months. So imagine not having credit card debt, not having a personal loan, no overdraft, no revolving credit that you have to run into every time things get a little bit tough, no clothing accounts, no furniture accounts. Imagine you are in that situation. You know how much money and cash flow is wasted in South Africa on paying for unsecured debt. So we're going to show you how to move your zero back to zero. So that is a major thing. So just put the two together. Let's say we can firstly save you 10% on your expenses, and secondly, get rid of all your unsecured debt within 24 months. How is that going to change your cash flow if you don't have any more credit cards to pay and you're saving an extra 10% on top of that as well? We're also going to show you 4 strategies that I'm going to share with you to pay off your house in half the time. Now, that means if you still have 15 years left on your bond, you could do it in 7. If you have 20 years, you've just bought your house, you can do it in 10. So in 10 years time, 7 years time, 5 years time, you could have your house paid, which means you have a place to stay and it's yours. It is not you renting from the bank, because that is unfortunately the reality. Most of us that is a home owner is actually just paying rent to the bank through the interest that you pay. I'm going to show you how to retire in 10 years. What is the recipe for you to go from where you are at the moment to financial retirement in 10 years? I will teach you the breakout point. I will teach you what I've taught hundreds of people about how to get to retirement in 10 years. And if you have that recipe and you follow that recipe, you can retire in 10 years as well. And then we're going to talk a little bit about entrepreneurship and specifically about how people start businesses or become an entrepreneur at the wrong time. And secondly, they ask the wrong question. So if you can get the timing right and you can ask the right question when starting a business or becoming an entrepreneur, your chance of becoming successful and earning those MSIs, those multiple sources of income, is dramatically improved. So do you rather want to start a business and hope you're going to be successful, or do you want to know the questions, the secrets to make sure that if you do start a part-time business, you have a very high probability of being successful? I'm also going to teach you about IMID, which is my secret or my recipe to achieve goals, and what IMID stands for. It's IEMID, IMID, I-E-M-I-D. What does that stand for, and how do you use it to achieve your goals, whatever that goal is? So those are a few of the things. There's going to be a lot more. We're going to talk about some investment structures. We're going to talk about tax. It is going to be an amazing, amazing experience. So what I want to really put on your heart is this is something that can change your life forever. You have nothing to lose except taking a Saturday and spending it on yourself, your future, your financial intelligence, making you or giving you a higher probability of succeeding financially. What else are you going to do on a Saturday? Mow the lawn, sit in front of the TV, watch rugby, but veg at your house. Give up one Saturday for yourself, for something that can change your life, your wife, your family, your children's lives. Because the things that you learn on the 7th of May can make an impact not just on you, but for generations to come. So really take the effort. And best of all, the tickets are free. You don't even have to pay for this. We're not saying pay us 500 Rand or 700 Rand or 1,000 Rand. The information that you're going to get on the 7th of May is probably worth thousands. And you can come get it for free. Guys, if you're not willing to take some time to improve your financial situation, then I promise you, you are not allowed to ever again stand at a braai, be with friends and complain about how you are struggling financially and how difficult things are and how high the petrol price are and how difficult it is to cover the expenses and put your kids through school, how expensive education is and medical aid is. It is if you don't take this opportunity, you don't have the right to complain. Because here is the opportunity for you to take control, change your life and the trajectory of your financial future immediately. So where do you get tickets? And guys, we only have limited seats available for free tickets. So it's going to be first come, first serve. So firstly, make sure that you get your ticket as quickly as possible. Secondly, get there as early as possible. We say 8:30 for 9. Be there at 8:30. Don't be there at 9:15, because first come, first serve with the free tickets. So if you get there at 9:15 and there's no more seats available, you are not going to be able to attend. We have to make sure that there's enough people there, but we can't put more people in than the auditorium can take. So the free tickets, you can book at CompuTicket. You just go to computicket.com, search for Financial Freedom Forum, and you can book your tickets on CompuTicket. On CompuTicket, the tickets are 25 Rand for the free tickets, and that is just because we cannot have a free ticket on CompuTicket. You have to pay something. But once you've bought your ticket through CompuTicket, you get to the venue, you will have 25 Rand credit at the kiosk to get a cold drink, a water, a coffee, or something to eat over lunch. So you will get the value of that 25 Rand so that it doesn't cost you anything. You can also go book free tickets, then you don't have to take out the 25 Rand at quicket.co.za. So Quicket, it's like cricket, just with a quick. So it's quicket.co.za. You can book the tickets there, or you can just email our offices at info@retirehappy.co.za and say you want to book a certain amount of free tickets. Our office will be in contact with you and help you to book those tickets. There is also VIP tickets available. The VIP tickets that we have available will give you backstage access. You will be able to talk to all the speakers. You will have lunch with us in the VIP room. You will have goodie bags will be there, and you'll have a lot of things that you'll get as part of the day. You will also be able to meet our celebrity guest for the day. And our celebrity guest that's going to be there is Natasha Jacobs from Getroud met Rugby. For those of you who follow that, she plays Amanda on Getroud with Rugby. She will also be there. You'll be able to meet her, have a chat with her. I will also do an interview with her throughout the day to tell you how she has benefited from the coaching as well. So lots and lots to happen. Do not miss out. Get your tickets. You do not want to miss this show. It is going to be extraordinary. Guys, thank you very much. I really appreciate it or enjoyed the time that I spent with you chatting about the forum. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. I wish it was this Saturday already, because I just can't wait to sit and interact with all of you at the forum.